So it seems that President Xi Jinping of China knew about the Wuhan coronavirus weeks before he did anything about it. Maybe he was busy with more important things than human life. Maybe he had a crossword to finish. Who knows? Let's not rush to judgment. As most people know by now, the Chinese Communist Party has infected the world with a deadly virus, the Wuhan coronavirus, which has killed thousands of people and caused unprecedented worldwide panic and lockdown that will likely devastate the global economy. It's important to call this the Wuhan virus, or the Chinese virus, as President Trump would have it, because, as Confucius would say, it's important to call a thing by its proper name. When it first emerged in the city of Wuhan, a responsible government would have dealt with it decisively, but the Chinese Communist Party covered it up to save face until it was too late to contain it. They arrested anyone who talked about it, and they refused all offers of outside help because saving face is more important to them than saving life. The Chinese Communist Party is directly responsible for every death from this deadly Wuhan virus that they have inflicted on the world. They have always been enemies of the Chinese people. Now they are enemies of all humanity. They knew the world would be crippled by this virus when they covered it up, but they lied and they lied and they lied again, and they're still lying now. And despite the best efforts of the fake news media and the corrupt World Health Organization to shield them from blame, the whole world can see what these people have done, how irresponsible and how dishonest they have been, and they have lost face. Oh, have they ever? But more importantly, thanks to them, China has lost face. Xi Jinping and his party of gangsters have shamed their country in the eyes of the world. They have shown the world that China cannot be trusted, and that as long as they govern it, China should never be trusted or respected again. By the way, I fully expect YouTube to remove this video because Google, which owns YouTube, wants access to the Chinese market. So they do what they're told by the Chinese Communist Party, which approaches every problem with a heavy, blunt instrument. It's so 20th century. A political dinosaur well past its extinction date. In the 70 years these people have been in power, they've destroyed much of China's ancient heritage and tried to force the Chinese people to forget who they really are. They describe their system of government as socialism with Chinese characteristics, as if socialism wasn't cruel enough. Not that it matters with socialism, Chinese characteristics, Russian characteristics, whatever. Sooner or later, people end up in concentration camps, like the million Muslims in China right now, incarcerated in what they call re-education centers, where they're forced to eat pork and drink alcohol, as if that's going to sort them out. A lot of Western culture is currently banned or censored in China because they know that if they allow free expression, their brutal surveillance dictatorship will never survive. So they even censor the cartoon character Winnie the Pooh because people think he resembles the president, Xi Jinping. So they're using Winnie the Pooh online as an indirect way of satirizing the president without doing it openly and being arrested and tortured to death and having their organs harvested. Nobody wants that. I don't see the resemblance myself, although I did hear a rumour that early in his career Xi Jinping did get his head stuck in a jar of fake Chinese honey that turned out to be corn syrup, but I don't know how true that is. One thing I do know is that Xi Jinping is so insecure and paranoid about being likened to a cartoon character that he has overreacted and drawn worldwide attention to it. You just know that every state visit from now on, Winnie the Pooh will be front and centre. Banners, cartoons, blimps, you name it, in open, contemptuous mockery of him and his corrupt, cowardly, disgusting government that has shamed their country in the eyes of the world. This is such a blunder and a further loss of face on the part of the incompetent Xi Jinping that by his own brutal standards, he really should have himself shot. Confucius insisted on accurate terminology as the root of good government and an orderly society. So as this Wuhan virus continues to shut down the world and to shame the Chinese nation in the eyes of the world, I'm wondering what Confucius would make of the Chinese People's Liberation Army. I reckon he'd be wondering when the Chinese People's Liberation Army are going to live up to their name and liberate the Chinese people instead of standing around with their thumbs up their arses waiting for their noodles. Either that or change its name to the more accurate Government of Shame Preservation Army. And then at least poor old Confucius might rest easy.